There's something that keeps me awake at night sometimes. It's not my own future, though that matters too. It's the conversations I have with friends, neighbors, and even strangers who share the same quiet worry. They whisper it like a secret. I'm terrified of ending up in a nursing home. And honestly, I get it. The image that pops into most of our minds isn't exactly inspiring, is it? Sterile hallways, scheduled meal times, and that feeling of, waiting. Waiting for visits, waiting for meals, waiting for life to happen around you instead of with you. But here's what I've discovered after years of research and countless conversations with seniors who are thriving, and I mean truly thriving in their golden years. Nursing homes aren't your only option, not even close. In fact, some of the happiest, most vibrant people I know chose a completely different path. They're living proof that aging doesn't have to mean giving up control, independence, or joy. Today, I want to share 7 alternatives that might just change how you think about your future or the future of someone you love. Now, before we dive in, I have to tell you something important. This isn't just about avoiding nursing homes, though that might be part of it. This is about discovering options that actually enhance your life, that respect who you are, and that allow you to age on your own terms. If you're new here, welcome to Senior Living Easy. We're all about empowering you with practical, real-world solutions for this beautiful season of life. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming. Option 1. Your castle, your rules. In-home care. Let me start with something that might surprise you. The most popular alternative to nursing homes isn't some fancy facility or community. It's staying right where you are, in your own home, with the right support system. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but I can't manage everything on my own anymore. And you know what? That's perfectly okay. In-home care isn't about proving you can do everything yourself. It's about getting the help you need while keeping the life you love. Picture this. You wake up in your own bed, the same one you've slept in for years. You shuffle to the kitchen, yes, that kitchen where you've made thousands of meals, and there's fresh coffee waiting, made by your care assistant who knows exactly how you like it. After breakfast, you tend to your garden, maybe read in your favorite chair by the window, and later, when your knees are acting up, someone's there to help with the grocery shopping. This isn't about giving up independence, it's about enhancing it. The research backs this up beautifully. Seniors who age in place maintain sharper cognitive function and experience significantly less depression than those who move to facilities. Why? Because there's something magical about familiar surroundings.
Let me tell you about Eleanor. She's 78 with knees that remind her daily of all those years of dancing, and a memory that occasionally plays hide and seek with her medication schedule. But Eleanor isn't in a nursing home. She has a home care assistant who visits 5 days a week. And you know what? She's absolutely thriving. Every morning, Eleanor does her crossword puzzle at the same kitchen table where she used to help her children with homework. She watches the birds at her feeder, knows every neighbor's routine, and still meets her friend Martha for coffee every Sunday at their favorite cafe downtown. Eleanor didn't need a facility. She just needed a little support in the place that holds her heart. And that's the beauty of in-home care. It's completely flexible. Maybe you need someone once a week for heavy cleaning and errands. Maybe you need daily help with meals and medications. The care adjusts to you, not the other way around. Option 2. Family ties that actually work. Now, let's talk about something that makes some people smile and others cringe. Moving in with family. But hold on, before you roll your eyes, hear me out. This isn't about becoming the burden you're worried about becoming or moving into your child's spare bedroom to slowly fade away. Modern multi-generational living, when done right, is about creating a situation where everyone wins. Yes, everyone. Think about it this way. You're not just receiving care. You're contributing wisdom, experience, and often practical help too. Maybe you're the one who makes sure the grandkids get their homework done. Or you're the family historian who keeps traditions alive. Or you're simply the calm, steady presence that brings peace to a busy household. The psychological benefits are remarkable. Loneliness, one of the biggest health threats for seniors, virtually disappears. Depression rates plummet. And here's something interesting. The younger family members benefit too. Kids who grow up with grandparents in the home show higher levels of empathy and emotional intelligence. But here's the key, and I can't stress this enough. Success depends entirely on clear boundaries and mutual respect. This isn't about giving up your independence or your privacy. It's about sharing life while maintaining your identity. Let me introduce you to Harold. He's 81, and after losing his beloved wife of 53 years, his daughter Sarah suggested he move in with her family. But they were smart about it. They converted the space above their garage into a beautiful apartment with its own entrance, kitchenette, and living area. Harold joins the family for dinner a few times a week, never misses his grandson's baseball games, and has become the unofficial family photographer. But he also has his quiet mornings with coffee in the newspaper, his afternoon naps, and his Friday night poker games with friends from the senior center. "I'm not a guest in my daughter's house," Harold told me recently, "and I'm not a patient. I'm family, living my life, just closer to the people I love most."
Option 3. You're home, but smarter. Now here's where technology becomes your best friend instead of your biggest frustration. Aging in place with smart home modifications isn't about admitting defeat. It's about being proactive and intelligent about your future. You know what I love about this approach? It's planning ahead while you're still strong enough to make good decisions. It's saying, I'm going to make my home work for me at every stage of my life. I recently visited Linda, who's 79 and sharp as a tack. 2 years ago, she had a fall in her bathroom. Nothing serious, thank goodness, but it was a wake-up call. Instead of panicking or immediately looking at assisted living facilities, Linda did something brilliant. She invested in making her home safer and more supportive. She installed a beautiful walk-in tub that looks like it belongs in a spa, not a hospital. She added grab bars that actually complement her bathroom's design. You'd never know they were safety features if she didn't tell you. Motion sensor lighting now guides her safely through the house at night, and a stair lift that she calls her personal elevator makes the second floor accessible again. But here's what really transformed Linda's life: the technology. Her smart home system can call for help if she falls, remind her about medications, and even let her family know she's okay with a simple daily check-in. Her doorbell camera lets her see who's visiting without getting up, and voice commands help her control everything from the thermostat to the TV. "I thought these changes would make me feel old," Linda confided in me over tea in her beautifully adapted kitchen. "Instead, they've made me feel free. I'm not tiptoeing through my own home anymore, worried about every step." The psychological impact of this cannot be overstated. When your home supports you instead of challenging you, you maintain confidence. You sleep better knowing you're secure. You move more freely, which keeps you stronger longer. And let's talk about something most people don't consider: the financial aspect. These modifications, even significant ones, often cost less than 6 months in a quality assisted living facility. It's an investment in independence that pays dividends in peace of mind. Option 4. Independent living, the best of both worlds. Here's where I want to bust a common myth. Many people think your only choices are staying home completely alone or moving into full-time care. But there's a sweet spot in between: independent living communities that respect your autonomy while providing support when you need it. These aren't your grandmother's retirement homes. We're talking about vibrant communities designed for people who can take care of themselves but appreciate having backup. Think of it like living in the world's most supportive neighborhood. You have your own space, usually a beautiful apartment or cottage, but you're surrounded by people who understand this stage of life. Meals are available if you want them, but you can cook in your own kitchen whenever you prefer. Social activities happen regularly, but participation is entirely your choice. Medical support is available, but it's not hovering over you. The community aspect addresses one of age's most dangerous enemies, isolation. And I'm not just talking about loneliness, though that's certainly part of it. I'm talking about the kind of isolation that slowly erodes your sense of purpose, your daily structure, and yes, even your cognitive function. Let me tell you about Richard. At 78, he was struggling after losing his wife of 52 years. His house felt enormous and empty. His adult children lived hours away, and he found himself going days without meaningful conversation. Depression was settling in like fog, and he knew something had to change. Richard moved to an independent living community that specializes in lifelong learning and creativity. There's a woodworking studio where he's rediscovered his love of crafting furniture. There are walking paths where he's made friends with other early risers. There's a weekly film club where passionate discussions often run past bedtime. I haven't felt this engaged with life in years, Richard told me during our last conversation. I'm not just existing anymore, I'm participating. But here's what I find most encouraging about Richard's story. He didn't give up his independence to gain community. He enhanced his independence by choosing the right environment. He still makes his own decisions, manages his own schedule, and lives according to his own values. He just does it all in a place designed to support those choices. Option 5, the radical experiment, intergenerational living. Now, this next option might sound a bit unconventional, but stay with me because it's producing some remarkable results. Intergenerational living communities are popping up across the country, and they're challenging everything we think we know about aging. Picture this. Instead of being surrounded only by people your own age, you're living in a community where college students, young families, middle-aged professionals, and seniors all share the same neighborhood. It sounds chaotic, doesn't it? But it's actually quite beautiful. These communities are designed around the idea that different generations have different strengths, and when you combine them, everyone benefits. The energy and tech savviness of younger residents mix with the wisdom and stability of older ones. Children grow up with surrogate grandparents nearby, while seniors have built-in opportunities to feel needed and relevant. Margaret, who's 76, moved to one of these communities in Oregon, and her experience has been transformative. She lives in her own apartment, but it's part of a larger complex that includes housing for graduate students from the nearby university. Every Thursday, Margaret leads a poetry circle that draws people from across the age spectrum. In return, the students help her navigate new technology, assist with tasks like changing light bulbs or moving furniture, and introduce her to music and ideas she never would have encountered otherwise. I haven't felt this curious about life in decades, Margaret shared with me recently. These young people challenge me to think differently, and apparently I do the same for them. The research on intergenerational living is fascinating. Seniors in these communities show slower rates of cognitive decline, significantly lower levels of depression, and increased physical activity. The younger residents report higher levels of empathy, better stress management, and a deeper appreciation for life's simple pleasures. But perhaps most importantly, these communities combat the age segregation that's become so common in our society. Instead of being shuffled off to age-specific housing, seniors remain connected to the full spectrum of human experience. If you're finding value in today's discussion, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these options resonates most with your vision of ideal aging? Your engagement helps us create content that truly serves this amazing community. Option 6, co-housing, creating your chosen family. Here's an option that's quietly revolutionizing how we think about community in our later years. Co-housing isn't just about sharing space. It's about intentionally creating the kind of neighborhood that most of us remember from our childhoods but rarely see anymore. Imagine living in your own private home or apartment, but being part of a small community where people actually know each other's names.
where someone notices if you haven't been seen for a day or two, and where shared meals happen regularly not because they're mandated, but because people genuinely enjoy each other's company. Co-housing communities are typically designed around a common house, a shared space with a large kitchen, dining area, and living spaces where residents can gather. But here's what makes it special. These communities are resident-managed. You're not a customer or a patient, you're a contributing member of an intentional neighborhood. I recently spent an afternoon with Joyce, who's 72 and moved into a co-housing community outside Seattle 3 years ago. I was tired of living behind closed doors, she told me, as we walked through their beautifully landscaped common areas. I wanted to be part of something bigger than just my own four walls. In Joyce's community, residents take turns cooking meals for the group, not because they have to, but because they want to contribute. There's a shared garden where Joyce grows the tomatoes that have become legendary in their weekly potlucks. There's a workshop where several residents pursue woodworking and crafts together. But what struck me most about Joyce's story was how natural it all felt. We help each other, but it doesn't feel like charity or dependency, she explained. When I drove someone to a doctor's appointment last week, it felt good to be useful. And when I was recovering from my knee surgery and meals just appeared at my door, it felt like love, not pity. The beauty of co-housing is that it addresses multiple needs simultaneously: community, security, shared resources, and maintained independence. It's like having the best neighbors in the world by design rather than by luck. Option 7, the village model, aging in community. Now, let me share something that might be the most innovative approach I've encountered. The village model is based on a simple but powerful idea. What if your existing neighborhood could become your support system as you age? This isn't about moving anywhere or changing your living situation dramatically. Instead, it's about creating a network of services, volunteers, and resources right where you already live. Villages are member-driven organizations that help seniors access transportation, home maintenance, social activities, and even healthcare coordination, all while staying in their own homes. The first village started in Boston's Beacon Hill neighborhood in 2002, and now there are hundreds across the country. Members pay annual dues, usually much less than what you'd spend on a gym membership, and in return, they have access to a network that helps them age successfully in place. Let me tell you about Robert and Helen, both in their mid-80s, who've been members of their local village for 5 years. When Robert needed cataract surgery, the village arranged transportation to and from his appointments. When Helen wanted to start attending lectures at the nearby university but couldn't drive at night, village volunteers became her regular companions for evening events. But it's not just about practical support. The village gave us back our social life, Helen told me over coffee in their sunny kitchen. We were becoming hermits without realizing it. Now we have concert buddies, dinner companions, and friends we actually look forward to seeing. What I love about the village model is how it preserves dignity while providing support. You're not a recipient of services, you're a member of a community. Many village members also volunteer for others, creating that beautiful cycle of giving and receiving that keeps everyone feeling valuable and connected.
The quiet revolution, choosing your own adventure. As we wrap up today's journey through these 7 alternatives, I want you to take a moment to really consider what we've covered. We've talked about staying in your own home with support, living with family in new ways, making your home smarter and safer, joining independent living communities, embracing intergenerational connections, creating intentional neighborhoods, and building support networks right where you are. But here's what ties all these options together. Choice. The power to decide how you want to live, rather than having that decision made for you by circumstances, fear, or limited imagination. You know, there's something profound happening in our society right now. The generation that challenged conventions in the 1960s, that redefined careers and relationships and family structures, is now redefining what it means to age. And thank goodness for that, Because the old model, the one that saw aging as a slow retreat from life, never really served anyone well. Each of the options we've discussed today represents a different way of saying, I'm not done yet. I'm not ready to step aside. I still have contributions to make, relationships to nurture, and life to live fully. But I also want to acknowledge something important. None of these paths are perfect, and none of them are right for everyone. The key is knowing that you have options, that you can make choices based on your values, your needs, and your vision of what your golden years should look like. Maybe you're someone who draws energy from solitude and finds peace in your own space. In-home care or smart home modifications might be your path. Maybe you're energized by community and collaboration. Co-housing or village membership could be perfect. Maybe you want to stay connected to younger generations. Intergenerational living might call to you. The point isn't to choose right now. The point is to know that when the time comes to make these decisions, for yourself or with a loved one, you're not limited to the old, tired options that previous generations accepted without question. Your next chapter starts now. Here's what I want you to remember most from our time together today. Aging isn't something that happens to you, it's something you participate in. Every choice you make, every conversation you have, every plan you consider is you actively shaping your future rather than simply waiting for it to unfold. Start having these conversations now while you're healthy and clear thinking. Visit some of these communities if you can. Talk to friends who've made unconventional choices. Research the options available in your area. The internet is full of resources, and many communities offer tours or information sessions. Most importantly, reject the narrative that aging means inevitable decline, isolation, or loss of control. Yes, our bodies change. Yes, we face new challenges. But we also have wisdom we didn't have at 30, perspective we couldn't access at 50, and often freedom from obligations that allow us to focus on what truly matters. The seniors I've met who are thriving, really thriving, in their 70s, 80s, and beyond all have one thing in common. They refuse to let age define their possibilities. They saw aging as another life stage to be lived fully, not endured quietly. Your story isn't over. In many ways, some of the best chapters might still be ahead of you. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. In the comments below, share which of these 7 options resonated most strongly with you and why. Are there aspects of aging that you're looking forward to? Challenges you're determined to meet head-on? Your voice matters in this conversation, and your experiences might just inspire someone else who's navigating these same decisions. If today's video opened your eyes to new possibilities, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might benefit from hearing these options. And if you haven't subscribed to Senior Living Easy yet, now's the perfect time. We're here to support you with practical, empowering content for every stage of this beautiful journey. Remember, you have more control over your aging experience than you might think. Use it wisely, use it boldly, and use it in service of the life you truly want to live. Until next time, keep living easy and keep living fully.